Hello everybody. As you can notice, I'm gonna do a retrospective video on Chaos and Demon Knights today. But before that, if you have noticed, I actually changed. Well, I haven't changed my avatar yet, but you notice that I changed the Skitarius image on my, I guess, opening scene. So that's because I have a new alternative avatar. I'm a Skitari now. Well, or Skitarius. Skitarius. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. The pseudo Latin names are just kind of weird to pronounce. But yeah, I can turn back to normal if I want. Whoops. But I can also turn into a Rowlet because since we are doing Chaos Knights today, the power of chaos, and since I'm more of a Thousand Suns guy, I got turned into a Rowlet because of the law of change. Obviously, I'm not gonna stay a Rowlet because I think Nintendo or Pokemon will probably call me up for copyright, so I'm gonna return to normal. Yeah. So anyway, we are doing a retrospective on Chaos and Demon Knights because I guess I'm doing on Imperial Knights, and I thought we should have something on the other side, the Chaos and Demon Knights, and they actually have a very interesting history, which is like something I would like to explore. Chaos Knights or Demon Knights, as they were formerly known, they first appeared in White Dwarf issue 190 in October 1990. They were part of the Slaanesh War Machines range introduced for Epic, and they expanded upon the Knight range, which gave the Loyalist Knights their trader counterparts. I already done a video at length on the origins of Imperial Knights, and this is pretty much a companion retrospective article to that. So yeah, Slaanesh war machines. That's the kind of thing we are exploring today. This was actually, as I said, an issue 190, White Dwarf issue 190 in October 1990. That's kind of a coincidental number. I guess the Omniscient works in mysterious ways. Anyway, I guess we should actually first begin with the most famous of Trader Knight households, and that is none other than House Divine Devin. Devin, I guess. I think Devin sounds far more correct than Divine. So House Devin of Molech. This is the first time Games Workshop introduced Demon Knights in the setting, and fittingly enough, it was for Epic. This is also the very first mention of the Battle of Molech, and it was penned by Gavin yeah, if you guys know who Gavin Top is, he's been around Warhammer 40,000 for over 30 years now. I think he actually joined Games Workshop in 1993, which is kind of weird when you think about him writing an article for White Dwarf in 1990. I guess they were impressed by his work, and or he officially joined Games Workshop 3 years later. I'm not very sure what went on with that. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of his novels. I think the only one I really actually like that was penned by Gavin Top was Luther First of the Fallen. I also actually like Correct Soul Forge as well. But I'm not a big fan of his other novels. He's like I guess Dark Angel novels, and what was the one? The First Wall. I wasn't a big fan of the First Wall. I mean, look, I know he's not the best Black Library author, but I have nothing against him, and he sometimes comes up with really cool lore, like the Battle of Molech. And I think the Battle of Molech is like really one of the most pivotal moments of the Horus Heresy. I'm actually surprised Black Library asked Graham Ragnall to pen a novel for it, which was Vengeful Spirit in 2014 instead of Gave Thought. Because Gave Thought was the one who came up with the whole thing in the first place, so I thought it was worth seeing his take on the story that he conceived almost 20 years ago. Because the Vengeful Spirit was written in 2014, whereas this was written like 1990. So it's like, whoa, okay. You have like a, I guess, difference of 24 years before the actual novelization of the Battle of Molech was written. So it's kind of interesting. By now, I think most people should be familiar with the story behind House Devin. It was formerly led by Cyphron Devin, who was the High King of Molech. This is from Vengeful Spirit 2014, as well as, I guess, the Doom of Molech, which is an Adeptus Titanicus campaign supplement or Adeptus Titanicus supplement. So yeah, I'm getting the combined lore from both sides. As much as I love Graham McNeil's books, I think the Doom, I almost said the Doom of Molech. I meant the Vengeful Spirit was not one of my favorite Graham McNeil novels. I guess part of it was because I think there was too much attention given over to the knight errants and the Vengeful Spirit itself than Molech and the actual knight houses, because I was hoping for more, I guess, lore on the night houses. But instead of focusing on the night houses, we had a bunch of stuff focusing on the traitor legions, on Horus himself, on the Vengeful Spirit, and the Knights Errant trying to, I guess, assassinate the Horus on the Vengeful Spirit or something like that. And it was like, come on, man, I want to read more about House Devin and the like 6 or 7 night houses on Molech. Oh man, and yeah, and yeah, but at least we got a cool scene of the Paragon of Terror and the Knights versus the Titans. Yeah, that was really cool. And the Death God being ripping apart entire fortress by making the I guess the native beasts flee right towards the wall, and then the Knights had to spend most of their ammunition against the creatures, so they got overrun by the Death God pretty easily after that. Anyway, as I said, Cyphron Devin, he was, I guess, shall we say, the protagonist of the Vengeful Spirit? Well, not really, because I think that was more focused on the Space Marines. But in the Molech, the story of the Molech, he was actually, Cyphron Devin was the High King of Molech. His son Raven betrayed and killed him to usurp his throne. I think he kicked Cyphron's Devin's knight suit off a cliff or something, and then claimed his father's throne. So Raven is, basically, he's a villain. Raven and his consort and sister, Don't Ask, Lix, and his mother, Sabella, are all part of this sluggish cult of the Serpent God that did crazy things. I mean, I just mentioned the incest thing, so you already know that this is not going to go down well. They also imprisoned and tortured Raven's older half brother, Albert, for some reason. Uh, well, who am I kidding? It's because Graham McNeil wants to reinforce the point that they are evil, so they do evil things. As evil as Raven is, when he piloted Bainlash, his knight armor into a forest, the serpent god Fulgrim attempts to tempt him, and fails. Sorry about the pun. Because he is a noble knight pilot and thus has the mental fortitude to resist the insidious whispers of chaos, along with the ghosts in his mechanicum, drone mechanicum. Sorry, my script is not going well. Somehow Fulgrim succeeds in corrupting Bainlash drone mechanicum, but that has no effect on Raven. Unfortunately, when Raven returns, Albert breaks free and kills him, Lix, and Sabella, and then he takes over Bainlash as its new pilot. Why without the ritual of becoming? I'm not sure how that works because I thought the ritual of becoming was a big thing in Night Lore, but yeah. Worse, Albert's suffering during his captivity under the torment of his stepmom and half siblings have left him half mad, and thus he lacks the resilience that Raven has. That leads to him succumbing to the sluggish magic that has woven its way into Bainlash throne mechanicum, which was courtesy of Fulgrim. Thus, when taking control of House Devin, all of whom are also corrupted, unlike Raven for some reason, because they were like indulging in all these depravities in their cult of the Serpent God. The Serpent God probably being Fulgrim. So basically poor Albert starts hallucinating of a dragon and he's basically hypnotized into slaying it. As it turns out, that dragon is actually the loyalist imperator, I guess. Imperator sounds better. Imperator Titan, Paragon of Terror. And Albert's knights are able to get so both Albert and his knights are able to get under the Paragon of Terror's white shields and they felt the mighty Titan. The Paragon of Terror being an Imperator Titan of Legio Crucius. And I think this is actually in the Doom of Molech supplement as well. The resulting catastrophic explosion kills many of the loyalists, and with the now insane and clearly traitor House Devin attacking from the rear, the Imperial forces are swiftly routed by Horus Lupercal's treacherous hosts. This was basically an introduction of what would be known as Demon Knights. Well, unfortunately, as with the case regarding Imperial Knights, when Epic sort of died away, these Demon Knights also vanished along with their loyalist counterparts, and they wouldn't surface for another 2 decades. Funnily enough, their absence was explained away in the Imperial Knights Codex in 2014. This is the 6th edition Imperial Knight Codex. So you can see here the Horus Heresy, the Golden Age of Strife, blah blah blah. I don't know whether I should read out the whole thing. You know what? I will do that in case some of you guys are using this as a video voice podcast and listening to it when you drive or work instead of watching the video. So yeah, the Horus Heresy, the golden age of the Great Crusade, was to be cut short by the supreme act of betrayal known as the Horus Heresy, during which the galaxy was gripped by the most bitter civil war humanity had ever seen. Across the nascent Imperium, rebels clashed with loyalists for the fate of mankind. Space Marines fought Space Marines, Titans fought Titans, and alongside Imperial Knights fought Imperial Knights. Well, yeah, I guess Imperial Knights fought Traitor Knights because, if you're a traitor, I don't think you're Imperial. In those dark days, nobody was to be trusted, and treachery was as much a part of warfare as mortar shells, volcano cannons, and drop pods. Where's the last guns? No Imperial army here. Anyway, one of the most horrific betrayals of the war occurred on the planet Molech. There you have a reference to the 1990 White Dwarf article, the Doom of Molech. As the War Master Horus led his armies to terror, he left a trail of destruction in his wake, hundreds of light years wide. His forces seemed unstoppable as garrison after garrison fell before his might, or changed allegiance and sided with the treacherous commander. It was on the planet of Molech that one of the most determined stands was to be made. Loyalist Titan legions, including Legio Crucius, I believe, and over 100 Imperial Army regiments and knightly houses stood ready to bear the brunt of the War Master's attack in an attempt to halt his inexorable advance. When it came, it was like a hurricane unleashed upon the wooden world. Horror's initial assault devastated many cities and strongholds, and amongst the victims were Molech's rulers, House Devin. Dispossessed and unable to fight back, the knightly house slowly succumbed to the temptations of chaos. Over the following months, the insidious whisper of Slanesh, Dark Prince of Chaos and God of Indulgence and Excess, or She Who Thirsts if you are an Eldari fan, spread through their depleted ranks. Their officers became lethargic, interested only in their sports, using their mighty night suits to hunt the towering reptilian beasts that stalk Molech's lush jungles. The seductive grip of Slanesh grew stronger as the Prince of Pleasures bent the force of his will to corrupting the noble Devins. Soon, Devins, I have no idea how to pronounce their name. Soon they met in secret cabals, performing depraved rites and ceremonies within the heart of the Loyalist camp. No act was too shameful or disgusting. The sensations of the moment became their only desire. When Horus launched a massive offensive, the Knights of House Devin committed an act of brazen treachery and turned on the troops who remained loyal to the Emperor. The Imperial forces found themselves caught in a trap, with advancing enemy titans to the front and renegade knights attacking their ranks from behind. This treachery allowed the Chaos host to punch through the Imperial defenses, leaving them with no line of retreat. They were totally defeated so brutally that only 1 in 100 of the Imperial army surviving the campaign. I guess, yeah. I mean, seems like I'm not the only one who thinks this is bad. Since that first betrayal, only a handful of knightly houses have been corrupted by chaos, even when the forged worlds to which they owed fealty became part of the Dark Mechanicum. The Imperial Knights that turned to chaos have long since died, but their souls live on as demons, floating within the shells of their corrupted war machines. When a demonic legion marches to war, it is sometimes preceded by these demon knights, spreading havoc and despair. In general, though, the innate conservatism of the knightly houses has made them resistant to the lures of the chaos the gods, and demon knights are therefore an extremely rare sight on the battlefields of the 41st millennium. Now, after that long rant, I guess the takeaways are demon knights are rare, apparently. Yeah, this was back in 2014, 10 years ago. So it's like lots of things have changed here. They retcon a lot of the law, but back then, the writers of the Imperial Knight Codex of 6th edition, there were no models for Chaos Knights. So they had to justify why you don't see Chaos Knights on the tabletop. So apparently, Demon Knights are rare because the conservatism and the nobility of Imperial Knight pilots kind of prevent them from making them resistant to the lure of chaos gods. So yeah, um, and yeah, only a handful of knight houses. Yeah, you look at this. Since that first betrayal, only a handful of knightly houses have been corrupted by chaos. Seriously? Well, we all know that's no longer true because there are like tons of chaos knight houses now. A lot of them, I guess this was before the Great Reef, the what was that? The Gathering Storm. Yeah, the Great Gathering Storm supplement in 2016 and 2016 early 2017. So, maybe most of the Chaos Knight houses fell after the Great Reef open. I don't think so. I seriously don't think so. But yeah, this is the kind of I guess historical reconstruction, rewriting of history retcons that have to that goes around in Games Workshop lore to kind of justify why you have certain models, why you don't have certain models, why certain factions don't show up until now. So and then the Chaos Knights have to be rewritten back in the lore when they came up with the Codex, and when was it, 2019, I believe. We'll get into that later, but yeah. So anyone who complains about Games Workshop retconning lore, yeah, they've been doing it all the time. So and I think it's a good thing. Can you imagine not having Chaos Knights today? I think it's fine to totally retcon the lore if you want to add factions like Chaos Knights. I think that's pretty cool. Well, basically the Battle of Molech during the Horus Heresy was mentioned once more as a callback to the 1995 White Dwarf 1990 article by GameStop. Oh my gosh, sorry. I guess 190 issue 190 was actually 1995. That was my mistake. Sorry. Yeah, I need to correct that. Sorry about that. But yeah, I meant White Dwarf issue 190 in 1995. Just so GameStop joined Games Workshop in 1993. So yeah, that's where I was like that's why I was confused. My bad. So yeah, GameStop joined Games Workshop in 1993, and then he wrote this in 1995, the Doom of the Battle of Molech. Sorry. So anyway, as I said, this is like yeah, this is why yeah. Unfortunately, as I said, retcons and law changes are pretty common in Games Workshop history, and this all changed with the introduction of 8th edition and Renegade Knights. So, yep, as you can see here, uh, actually, it was actually first introduced in 2016. So, actually, it's 7th edition, which was a year before 8th edition, and it featured the Litany of Destruction. You can see he's not very chaosy. He's, other than, the transfers painted on his shield heraldry. But yeah, no spikes, no chaos fight stuff that you see on modern Chaos Knights today. But yeah, basically the Litany of Destruction was once the Noble Knight Galen leaving Litany, and Sir Balthazar of House Terran, which you can see on the right, uh, has attempted to halt the Litany of Destruction's rampage on Talarex Prime. Unfortunately, Balthazar was defeated, and I guess his Knight Paladin Jesus Christ. Balthazar and his his Knight Paladin Everstalwart was nearly destroyed during the battle. So you see that guy over there, his knight got destroyed unfortunately. So 2 years later, in 2018, the second edition of Imperial Knights Renegade was released, and as I said, Balthasar and his Knight Paladin Ever Stalwart were defeated, and the Knights were almost destroyed. So we got a new guy. As you can see, it's a House Tyrannus Knight this time, a Knight Crusader instead of a Knight Paladin this time. And this guy, the Knight Crusader Red Might, was piloted by Sir Drantar of House Tyrannus, and he was charged with the Litany of Destruction. The plot point has been left hanging since then because the last time I heard about this, Sir Drontar and Red Mike clashed with the Litany of Destruction on Drarovar, a fallen Night World, and that was back in 2018 in the release of the 8th edition Imperial Knight Codex. In Chapter Proof, released during the early 8th edition, Renegade Knights became their own faction, separate from Imperial Knights, and had their own stratagem, Tree of Destruction, in contrast to the Loyalist Knights' rotate iron shields. Fittingly enough, this would distinguish between the two factions, so you have the Imperial Knights who would be more defensive and durable, whereas Renegade Knights focus more on their offense and raw power. So yeah, that was like distinguish the two different knight factions playing style. So if you like aggressive, raw power, killy knights, you play Chaos Knights. If you're more of the I guess defensive, you like more durable knights, you play House Tyrannus because we have a 6-up feel no pain back then. However, the Litany of Destruction is pretty much the first plastic Chaos Knight model, if you can even call that, because it's basically they just painted a normal Imperial Knight in Chaosy colors. But what you wanted was basically if you really wanted a Chaos Knight model, you probably had to buy resin upgrades from Forgeville. And I think this resin upgrade kit, Chaos Knight resin upgrade kit, was released as far back as 2015, like 1 year after the Imperial Knight Codex was released, because they needed the spikes. You can see the gaping maw that surrounds the head. It's pretty cool. I think it might be even better than the modern Chaos Knight kit, but which actually give them a more animal look and gave them a skull-like face. But yeah, I guess to each your own. And I don't like resin anyway. Anyway, before we explore the present, let's return to 1995 with the advent of the Slaanesh war machines and the introduction of Daemon Knights. These are probably no longer canon, but in 1995 we had separate knight types for Chaos, and they were dedicated to Slaanesh. That meant that they impose a -1 modifier to hit rolls, which is similar to the Holofields protected Elder Knights. And there were three types of Slaanesh Demon Knights. I almost said three types of Elder Knights. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, there are three types of Slaanesh Demon Knights, and they were the Hell Strider, the Hell Scourge, and the Hell Knight. And no, we are not talking about the Hell Knight from Doom. So yeah, I played Doom 3 like around the same, well, I almost say the same time. But I think Doom 3 came out in 2004, not 1995. But yeah, anyway, the Hellstrider is the smallest of the Demon Knights, and you can see that Hellstrider Demon Knights. They look kind of funky. They even though they are like the smallest, they still stands many times the height of man. I guess they are like supposed to be the counterpart for war dogs eventually, or maybe a smaller variant of the Questoris chassis. I am not very sure. I'm pretty sure I think they're more like the war dogs actually, because we have some descriptions here later. So you have the Hell Striders being extremely mobile. They are able to flush the enemy out of cover with their powerful but short range weaponry. And apparently they are armed with less cannons and melta beams. And according to the rules, they are simply weaker walker, which means they're not Titanic in modern 40k. So not Titanic or not super heavy. So I think yeah, like I said, they're definitely a precursor to War Dogs. And War Dogs they are armed with a thermosphere, which is pretty much melt beam. So I guess you can already see like all these connections between the kind of Imperial Knight models, um, War Dogs, Armiger Warglaves, and then Drovers. Pretty cool. Next, you have the Hell Scourge. The Hell Scourge is one of the largest Slanesh Demon Knights, and they are machine predators, the perfect hunters who mercilessly run down the quarry with bounding strikes from their elegant, powerful legs. Apparently, Hell Scourges are stealthy. They launch ambushes from previously unseen positions. So when you see one appear, and when the targets try to, attempt to turn their weapons to bear on its blood form, all the others will attack from all sides and sive through armor and flesh with their massive castigator cannons. Hellscourge Demon Knights are also in constant communication with each other, so they are linked telepathically in a manner akin to pack instincts, and this allows them to launch exceptionally well coordinated attacks and outflank the enemy with ease. Also, Hellscourges, unlike Hellstriders, are actually super heavy knights. So, knight being a type that returns in Horus Heresy 2.0 as opposed to simply being a super heavy walker in 6 or 7 edition. In other words, they are Titanic or super heavy in Horus Heresy 6 and 7 edition terms, I guess. And I'm assuming the Castigator is the foundation of what will later become the Cerastus Knight Castigator in 2014, because as I said, they are armed with a Castigator bolt cannon that can annihilate hordes of infantry and even threaten like tanks, as well as their flank speed. So yeah, flank in brackets by the way, because Cerastus Knights have the flank speed rule. The super heavy Hell Scourges, I think, really, they look like they inspired the design for the Knight Castigator in 2014 in the Horus Heresy Black Books and the For Show Resin model. It's similar to how the Cerastus Knight Lancer was clearly redesigned using the original Knight Lancer from the 1990 White Dwarf, 126 as the base. So yeah, Hell Knights are one of the most specialized types of Demon Knights. Oops, I should go to Hell Knights here. So yeah, I could turn it around for this. They are equipped with a rapid firing thermalance, which is fairly short range but can pierce through any armor with relative ease. They are also super heavy. Thermalance being, similar to thermal cannon, I guess. But yeah, and you also have a reference to the Battle of Kado. So a huge Chaos army invaded the hive of Kado, and while the Imperial army defended the capital from fiends, demonites, Zinj fire lords, that's why I'm a Rowlet now, and Cornet lords of battle, which I assume are the modern Lord of Skulls, or Lord of Skulls in the modern 40k terminology. 100 Hell Knights infiltrated the massive underground transport network of the hive. They eradicate any opposition they encountered, and then they emerged into the main streets of the hive and ended up killing thousands of citizens. And they also annihilated the Adeptus Arbites, Arbites, who attempted to stop them. I'm going to just follow the Arbiter Ian's pronunciation for this. So yeah. So the Hell Knights, they fought their way to the surface. They emerged within firing distance behind the loyalist Legio Crucius. Oh no, Legio Crucius again. They just died on Molech. Jeez, man, they're like the punching bag of loyalist Titan legions. And then they fired their thermal lances, destroying a whole battle group, including the Imperator Titan Deustus? I'm sorry, I can't speak Latin. Yeah. Uh, Legio Crucius has been losing a lot of Imperator Titans. I Why do they have so many Imperator Titans to begin with? That's insane. Anyway, there are also references to Slanesh type Titans, such as the Questor Scout Titan and the Subjugator Scout Titan. Anyway, the Subjugator Scout Titan is a demon engine and a small Slanesh Titan allied to the Emperor's Children, because Emperor's Children are the Slanesh dedicated Marine Legion, a Stardust Legion, and armed with sonic weaponry and tormentor cannons. Sonic weaponry became the signature weapons of Emperor's Children because they love their sounds and noise. The noise marines, I mean, literally noise marines. And the tormentor cannons are basically psychically charged weapons that kill their victims with unbearable agonies, leaving their bodies charged by distant energies. That sounds painful. They also come equipped with a pair of Hell Slicer battle claws, resembling those on Fiends, but or Fiends, but on a much larger scale. So yeah, you remember Demonet with their claws, their pincers? Yep, that's it. Fortunately, they are easily taken down because their armor is only as good as a Dreadnought's, which for a Titan is pitiful. I mean, it's a 2-up armor save, but that means they have lower toughness, I guess, if you are trying to talk in tabletop terms. Next one is Questor Scout Titans. They on the other hand, these are Slaneshi Titans. They are slightly larger than the Subjugators, and they have thicker armor, so they have non-Dreadnought armor. It is fast. It is armed with a pair of rapid-firing Tormentor cannons, which is again the psychically charged, thingy. Yeah. That's it. I don't think any of these guys ever show up again, cause I don't think they ever show up in Legions Imperialis. So well, it'd be cool if they do, but I doubt it. Unless the new Emperor's Children Codex that's coming out, I don't know when. Probably sometime in 10 edition, like how Boitus came out for 9 edition. I bet they will come out in 10 edition. But yeah, maybe Emperor's Throne will get their own Lord of War. So you have all these Slanesh Knights or Titans, but I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Anyway, despite that little line about Demon Knights being rare in the 6th edition Imperial Knight Codex from 2014, Chaos Knights have been showing up with increasing frequency. In 2019, 5 years after the launch of the Imperial Knight Codex, they finally saw the release of their own codex for the first time. And ta-dang! I swear that looks more like Evangelion than anything, but that's probably me being an anime fan. But yeah, Evangelion. Anyway, with this awesome trailer in 2019, Chaos Knights were teased, and later that year, a full codex along with a brand new model was released. I present to you guys the Night Despoiler kit. Well, actually, that's the Night Desecrator kit. Sorry. So the Night Desecrator kit allowed Chaos fans to assemble a Questoris class, which is now called Abhorrent class because it's Chaos. So you gotta change the name somehow. Uh, like how Devastators are turning to what do you call them? I almost said Long Fangs, but that's Space Wolves, not Chaos. Um, I don't know, like how veterans are changed to Chosen or something like that. You know. Anyway, Abhorrent Class Knight with Chaos Heraldry, Spikes, and all those Chaos beats for the first time in plastic. And they offer a new option, the Night Desecrator, which is what you can see here. So what is a Night Desecrator? It's basically the counterpart to the Night Preceptor. The Night Desecrator is armed with a Laser Destructor, which is generally a weapon mounted on Titans. That is capable of destroying a tank or even a rival knight in a single volley from long range. Ouch. Why do Chaos get all the counter crew toys? Aside from that, though, the range of the Chaos Knights was pretty much restricted to just being a mirror of their loyalist counterparts. So you have the War Dogs, which were pretty much Chaos Armigers. The Night Despoiler, as I said, is just pretty much a Questoris Knight that you can equip however you want, and even though you call it Abhorrent Knight, it's just a Questoris Knight all but name only. The Knight Rampager was pretty much a better Chaos Knight Gallant with a Warp Strike Claw instead of Thunder Strike Gauntlet because you want claws for Chaos. Chaos needs claws. They don't have a normal gauntlet. They need Warp Strike claws. And then you have the Knight Tyrant, which was basically a Chaos Dominus Knight. So yeah, even the division was pretty much the same. So you have Infernal houses, which are pretty much Dark Mechanicum aligned Knight houses, and then you have the Iconoclast houses, which are the counterpart of Imperial aligned Knight houses, pledging their allegiance to one of the 4 Chaos gods, or they could be just Chaos Undivided, or Demon Princes like Balakor, the House Raven turning into that house, whatever, when they got stolen by Balakor. Or they could even pledge their allegiance to a Chaos Space Marine Legion. Or they can be just their own tyrannical thing, so that's what we call uh tyrants, lords, I guess, being their own lords, sort of like Black Shields. I guess we call them Black Shields in Horus Heresy. And then you have the Dread Blades, who are Free Blades. And then the Idolaters are Sacristans. you can't forget about all the fancy wording, AG stories, purple prose. That pretty much sums up the Chaos Knights and their range. So it's basically a mirror of the Loyalist Knights. You just change the terms and into more chaosy, AG terms, and like quest stories being abhorrent, sacristans being idolaters, dread blades being free blades being dread blades. So yeah, now, funnily enough, unlike the Imperial Knights, who have 6 different Questoris Knight classes, like the Gallant, Errant, Paladin, Warden, Crusader, and Preceptor, 2 Armiger types, which is the Warglyph and Halrin, and 2 Dominus Knight types, which is the Castaner Valiant. Chaos Knights only have a single War Dog type. So, yeah. And then they have 3 different Abhorrent classes, which is like the Rampager, the Desecrator, and Despoiler, and a single Knight Tyrant type. Effectively, they only had half the range of Imperial Knights in terms of data sheets. Not chassis, not weapon options, in terms of data sheets. Lore-wise though, they are taking into account the sudden increase in Chaos Knights appearing everywhere. So not only have there been Chaos Knights houses all along, the appearance of the Great Wheel has seen entire Night Wolves consumed into the warp and spat out as Demon Wolves. Their once noble knightly houses now corrupted and twisted to the whims of dark gods. Or like House Kovacs of Kovasi, which was once Colossi, the home of House Riven. I need to do a video on the Warzone Charodon thing one day. Anyway, even the once noble scions of House Riven, those who remained upon Colossi when it was spirited away by Belacor into Nihilus, and the warp in the aftermath of Warzone Charodon and the slow-tainted demise of the Functional Metallica, they have been twisted and corrupted into the scions of House Kovacs. Yikes. So that actually explains the sudden increase of Chaos Knights on tabletop. And then, thanks to their new 9th edition codex in 2022, Chaos Knights also saw an explosion in their range. And I think this is time for another video.
Before the Emperor's light, our noble lords fought for the glory of mankind. On mighty iron steeds, they held back the darkness with fire and sword. And now those dark times have returned. Heresy shrouds our Imperium. And so our knights march to war once again.
Why do you think I look like him? Because we are both Knight Scions.
Ride forth into glory.
I don't have the monocle though. I wear glasses.
Strike chaos from this realm.
Well. This is why I don't wear a monocle. I wish Loyalist Knights have Wokai weapons too, but I guess we're getting the plastic Styrics like sometime this year or next year. So we'll get Wokai too. Hey! I just say that's a badass song. And you know you can tell how Games Workshop's advertising and media stuff has improved over like the last 20 years. We used to only get this in White Dwarf, and now you have all this cool YouTube computer graphic stuff that's just so amazing. So yeah. And this is the introduction of the first Psychic Knight, the Knight Abominant, which was released alongside the new variants of War Dogs, effectively doubled their range in a single stroke. The Electro Scourge appears to be inspired by Banelash like weapons from Vengeful Spirit by Graham McNeil, and that's why I have Banelash right there. You know, look at the whip. I suspect Graham actually meant to emulate the whole serpent motif of House Divine, Devin, Fulgrim, and Slanesh, you know, because the cult of the serpent god. And then, you know, Fulgrim is a snake. And I don't mean, I mean that literally, not just in an insulting manner. And that's why he gave Banelash a whip. But yeah, I guess somebody looked at that and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Why don't you put that on Chaos Knights? So that's why we get that Knight Abominant with the Electro Scourge whip thingy. Anyway, along with the Knight Abominant, the Warlocks are now split into 5 types. So the Warlock Executioner is pretty much the Armiger Halvin, and the Warlock Huntsman is the Armiger Warglaive. So no change there, basically. Nothing new here. However, the new Warlock kit allows you to build 3 more variants of Warlocks. The Warlock Stalker, which is armed with an Avenger chain cannon and a melee weapon of your choice. So that's basically the Armiger version of the Night Warden. Just like how the Armiger Warglaive is the, I guess, uh, Amigal version of the Knight Errant. And then the melee dedicated Knight Warlock Carnivore, which is basically the Amigal version of the Knight Gallant. And the dual gun platform of Wardog Brigand. Brigand. I don't know how to pronounce this weird word. So yeah, the Wardog Brigand is pretty much the Amigal version of the Knight Crusader. So these 3 new variants can swap their heavy starbers out. Heavy starbers out. I almost call them starbies. I don't know. Heavy starbers out for Havoc multi-launcher, which is like a Havoc missile launcher, but they can't take melta guns. While the original 2 Wardog variants can't take the Havoc multi-launcher for some reason. Don't ask me why. I guess they were like, I'm not sure. I don't know. Games Workshop, they recently they have this what was it? Plastic. You can only have weapon options in the plastic model box thing. Uh, so basically they kind of toned down what was it, weapon options, I guess, for modern 40k. So it's not like Horus Heresy where you can just keep bash, buy beats about, and do whatever you want to equip your squad however you want. That's why I kind of like Horus Heresy sometimes because of how personalized you can make your army and squads. Here you can't. You have to build your squad exactly according to what options you have in the box. So basically, if you're just buying the Armiger Warglaives and Armiger Halvrins from the normal Imperial Knight box and then just chaosifying them, you only get the heavy stubber melta gun. So you don't get the multi-launcher thing, the Havoc multi-launcher. So you don't get the option in the datasheet, which is kind of stupid when you think about it. But whatever. I'm not gonna whine about it here. So along with the codex, you get a Chaos Knight army set that gives you the new Knight Abominant and the 2 Warlocks. This also included the codex, by the way. So Chaos Knight players were actually in for a treat in 2022. However, this being a retrospective, the story doesn't end here. So I'm going back to Horus Heresy to look at instances of Demon Knights or Traitor Knight households. Because, House Divine or Devin is not the only Traitor Knight household, and we need the reason to justify why Knight houses are fighting or clashing against each other in the lore, and why many of them are on the War Master's side, especially for Forge World's Horus Heresy game, which expanded to include Knights in 2014. The release of both the plastic kits and the codex for 6th edition, as well as Forge World's own resin kits, the Cerasus Knights and the Mechanicum Stout Knights like the Margaera and Styrix in 2014 meant there was a need to incorporate these popular models into the game, as well as flesh out the details in the lore to explain why there are so many knights on both sides of the conflict. So I think in my video on Mechanicum of Vessel Knight houses, I mentioned House Atrex, for example. That's a knight troll house that was effectively enslaved by Archmagus Dracovac. And then you have the unfortunate House Morbidia, which was bound to Fabricator General Cabal Hall, and followed him to heresy while serving under Legio Mortis. Because Cabal Hall swore his loyalty to the War Master. And then you have what was that, House Artagon? If that's I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Aegon, I don't know. Yeah, food like House Atrax were subordinated to the traitor Forgewell Cyclotrev. Anyway, yeah, I'll talk more about that in a future video about the Fellweather Keep and the Knights of House Byroni. To sum it up, there are many ways in which a knight house may fall to the traitor cause, whether it is because they are enslaved horses or bound to their oaths to pledge their allegiance to a specific traitor legion, such as the Sons of Horus, or even as punishment where they are condemned to eternal servitude to the Fabricator of Mars, in this case being Cabal Hall. One of the more famous traitor knight houses is House Melanex, which is supposed to be arch enemy of my very own House Yato. I don't think they care about us though, because we are not mentioned that much in the lore, and it's a homebrew knight house anyway. Anyway, House Melanex was founded shortly after the incorporation of the Forge World Zana into the Imperium as part of the realignment of native Zainite armed forces to better serve the Great Crusade. So, I guess here's the history. The Marlin Quatlu? Why do they always come up with such weird names? a silent light line, a regressed night house that was lacking a home of their own during that time, and in possession of only a few operable night armors, formed the basis for this new night house, which was provided by Zana, with fresh machines and bound by blood and oath to the lords of Zana. Brought back from the age of extinction, the newly established House Malinex would serve with distinction during the Rangdan Xenocides, escorting the titans of Legio Walterum and the Tagmata Setna and Tagmata Scoria being one of the very famous traitor Mechanicum Magos during the during the heresy. So they basically fought. House Malinex basically fought alongside Legio Walterum and the Tagmatas during the Great Crusade, especially during the Rangdan Xenocides. When Horus Lupercal turned Zana to his cause during the Horus Heresy, House Malinex was declared traitor along with his masters, and elements of his forces aided the War Master and his allies in a number of key battles across the galaxy. As befitting a knight household founded upon a powerful force ruler such as Zana, House Malinex was well supplied, its contingents having access to rare knight patterns. Drawing upon such technologies, House Malinex was capable of bringing superior firepower against rival knight houses and even threatened isolated groups of titans. Then you have House Wetrix, House Wetrix, which is featured in both Adeptus Titanicus and the Chaos Knights Codex. Their homeworld is Daxos, Germany in the Segmentum Obscurus, and they are discovered by explorator fleets dispatched from Mars. They became fervent believers of the Cult Mechanicus, forging strong bonds with Mars, and thus were utterly loyal to Fabricator Cabal Hall. And they marched at his behest at the feet of the Titans of the Legio Mortis, and they served as his enforcers. So when Cabal Hall declared for the War Master, they followed willingly, purging their homeworld of loyalist elements and pledging their allegiance to Horus Lupercal. Serving as a list support for Legio Mortis, they were assigned to missions by the Fabricator General, including their participation in the war in the Belt of Iron. That's the Crucible of Retribution for Adeptus Titanicus. And then 10,000 years later, House Wetrix is recognized as an infernal house, having welcomed the corrupting influence of the Dark Mechanicum. Cabals of idolaters craft what infused armaments. Oops, sorry. And yeah, I guess like I said, the warp entities are causing my computer to crash. My cogitators, I mean. Cabals of idolaters craft warp infused armaments, engine cores powered by warp entities, and mechano sorcerers rune cogitators in forges and arcane weapon shops for their patrons. The Knights of House Westrix, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Wextrix launch campaigns to uncover repositories of knowledge dating to the Dark Age of technology or acquire heretical Xenos machinery, as well as these corded architect from radical fortunes. And I think that's pretty much it for this retrospective article, or video. So yeah. I guess yeah. So next week we'll be talking about Mechanicum Miltenam, so I'll be a Skitarius for next week, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.